So, a very good morning to all of you. Hope you are all fine at your places. Today, we have a lecture number 15 of power station practice. And today, in this lecture, we are discussed one more generating station. And this is the generating station that we are frequently used. And we can say that this is the normal generating station. And now, today, we will discuss about the diesel power plant or a diesel generating station. In my previous lectures, we will start about the generating stations, and you all see that in case of a generating station, one form of energy can be converted into the another form of energy. Like we read hydroelectric power station, we read thermal power station, we read nuclear power station. You see in all type of these type of generating stations, one form of energy is converted into the electrical energy. Every generating station has certain its advantages, certain its disadvantages. Somehow you can say that some generating stations are very high efficient, and some of the generating stations are very not efficient, or you can say that slightly low efficient. So depending upon the requirement, depending upon the fuel used, we are classify the generating station in different categories. Now, to the continuation part of this generating station, today we are discussed about that the diesel power plant, or you can say that the diesel generating station. Now, as the name indicates, that is a diesel power plant or a diesel generating station. So the basic principle is again the same thing, that uh, in case of any generator, whenever there is change in the magnetic flux and EMF is generated, we have to rotate the armature of the generator, and in order to rotate the armature of the generator, we are basically connected that armature of the generator with the help of a shaft to the some prime mover. So in case of a hydroelectric power station, the prime mover is basically, you can say that, the turbine, that is called as the hydro turbine. In case of a thermal power station, the prime mover is basically the steam turbine. And in case of, you can say that, nuclear power plant, again the prime mover will be, again you can say that, the steam turbine. Now in case of a nuclear power in case of a sorry diesel power plant, as the name suggests, diesel engine is used as a prime mover. The diesel, that is basically a fuel, burn inside the engine, and the product of this combustion act as working fluid to produce the mechanical energy. So you can say that in case of a diesel power plant, we are, we are using a diesel as a fuel, so that it can be produced a certain heat energy, and this heat energy is after that converted into the mechanical energy, which is used to rotate the alternator, and hence the alternator of the generator start rotating, and hence it generates the electricity. So the diesel engine drive alternator converts the mechanical energy into electrical energy. So as I had already told you, in case of a diesel power plant, or you can say that diesel generating station, the prime fuel that we can use is your diesel, and this diesel engine drives the alternator, which converts mechanical energy into the electrical energy. The diesel generator converts some of the chemical energy contained by the diesel fuel to the mechanical energy through, you can say that, combustion process. This mechanical energy then rotates a crank to produce the electricity. Electric charges are induced in the wire by moving it through a magnetic field. The mechanical power required for driving the alternator comes from combustion of diesel. As you can say that the diesel's cost is high, this type of power station is not suitable for producing the electricity in a large scale in our country. So you can say that these diesel power plants are somehow, you can say that, robust in nature, but these diesel power plants cannot be used for the production of electricity in a commercial way. Like, we can use generation of electricity in commercial way by using hydroelectric power station, by using thermal power station, by using nuclear power station. No doubt this diesel power plant can be used to generate the electricity, but again the problem is that thing, Since the diesel fuel is cost is very high, so this type of power plant cannot be used for the production of electricity in a larger scale. It can be used for a very small scale where we have the only the option we have a diesel fuel is available, and that case we can use the electricity. Clear? So again, there is one video for you people that the working of diesel power plant. This is basically an animated video. Now you can get an idea that how the diesel power plant can work. So again, my request to all of you to please watch this video carefully so you can get an idea that how the diesel power plant can actually work.
Diesel power plant. When it comes down to generation of electricity, that is electric power, it is essential to rotate the rotor of an alternator by prime mover. This prime mover can be driven using different types of fuel. Diesel engine is one of the most popular methods as a prime mover for generating electricity. So, when prime mover of an alternator is diesel engine, then the power station is known as diesel power station. Let's take a look at the diesel power plant. The various subsystems of a diesel power plant are prime mover, starting system, lubrication system, exhaust system, cooling system, air intake system, and fuel system. So let's learn about each of the subsystems in a bit more detail. In a diesel power plant, prime mover is a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke multi-cylinder diesel engine. The starting system. Starting system provides the initial rotation to the engine shaft required to start the engine. Smaller units can safely be started manually by hand cranking. However, larger units use compressed air for starting purpose. Lubrication system. Lubrication system consists of lubricating oil tank, pump, filter, and oil cooler. Lubricating oil is drawn from the oil tank by the pump and is passed through filters to remove impurities. Oil coolers are also there to keep temperature of the oil as low as possible. Exhaust system, as the name suggests, leads the engine exhaust gases out to the atmosphere. A silencer is used to reduce noise level. Air intake system intakes the air and supplies it to the engine for fuel combustion. Its air filters remove dust from air before forwarding it to the engine. Air filters can be dry type, made up of wool or cloth. Fuel system. Fuel system consists of a storage tank or the main tank to store the fuel. The oil is pumped into the day tank via transfer pump. During the transfer, oil passes through the strainers or filters to remove solid impurities. Another pipe called as overflow pipe is available to connect the day tank to the main tank. It returns the oil from the day tank to the main tank in the event of oil overflows. Fuel injection pump injects the fuel from the day tank into the engine cylinder at a high pressure of about 100 bars. Cooling system. Cooling system is instrumental for the liquid cooling process. In this system, cooling jackets are provided on the engine cylinder walls and head through which the coolant is circulated. The heat is transferred from the cylinder walls to the coolant by the process of convection and conduction. The coolant heated during its passage through the cooling jackets is cooled while it passes through the air-cooled radiator. So this is how a diesel power plant works. Now let's go ahead and take a look at its advantages and disadvantages. Advantages. The plant layout is simple, which ensures quick installation and commission as compared to the steam or hydropower plant. Quick starting and easy pickup of loads in a very short span of time. Easy load operation and requires minimum labor. Simple fuel handling and efficient ash disposal. High level of efficiency. Disadvantages. The power generation capacity of these power plants is limited to about 50 megawatts. It is expensive as diesel fuel is expensive as compared to coal. Maintenance cost of a diesel power plant is also very high. Life of these power plants is relatively short. Recap. In this lesson, you learned about different systems of a diesel power plant, how it works, and the advantages and disadvantages of diesel power plants.
So this is all about the working of a diesel power plant. I think by watching this video, you can get an idea that how this diesel power plant can work. And one thing that I have told you that in case of diesel power plant, this type of power plant has certain advantages as compared to the another disadvantages, but only you can say that this type of diesel power plant can be used, or it can be used for the production of electricity on a very small scale. The reason being, the fuel that can be used for generating of electricity is basically the diesel, and we all know that diesel is basically the petroleum product, and this petroleum product are very costly in nature. So we can't use this type of power plant in a commercial way. The commercial way of generating the electricity is we have a hydro, we have a nuclear, and we have a thermal power plant. So if you have to generate the electricity, and that generation of the electricity is you can say that on a small scale, then this type of power plant can be used. So I think by watching this video, you can get an idea that how the diesel power plant can work. Now coming to the slide, next slide, this is the schematic diagram of diesel power plant. Now you can see that this is the all the equipment that we can use in this case of a diesel power plant. You have a fuel tank where the fuel can be stored, and after that you have a pump, and all these will be accessories. This is basically the main diesel generator, where you can say that the fuel will be injected, and after that the combustion process will take place. The fuel get compressed, and after compression, different type of strokes will occur, and the fuel energy is converted into the heat energy. And when this heat energy will be generated, this heat energy is then passed with the help of a pass through the crankshaft, and then this heat energy is basically converted into the mechanical energy, and then it starts rotating. Now this will be coupled with an alternator, and hence the alternator will start producing electricity. So in this case, you can say that the diesel power plant can work, and it will generate electricity. No doubt, when you use a fuel and heat will be generated in case of this plant, we have to extract that heat. So for extracting of that heat, we are required certain cooling type arrangements. So we are required certain cooling towers and all these. So this is the basically the schematic diagram of this diesel power plant. Now, as in the video, it is also mentioned that there are different parts of the diesel power plant, and some of the parts of the diesel power plant are the fuel supply system, the air intake system, the exhaust system, the cooling system, the lubrication system, and engine starting system. So you can say that by combining the three and three six systems, we are getting a total overall diesel power plant. In a fuel supply system, you have stored a fuel in a tank, and after that fuel is get pumped with the help of a fuel pump, and it will be then passed to some cylinder where the fuel get you can say that compressed. And we all know that for the exhaustion, for the combustion of processes, we are required certain air. So air will be taken from the air intake system. Now in a cylinder, the fuel as well as the air will come together, and the combustion will take place. After the combustion, some heat energy will be generated, and when the heat energy will be generated, the byproducts of the diesel will be obtained. And this byproducts of the diesel so obtained is obtained in the form of the gases, and these gases will be released from the engine or a cylinder with the help of this exhaust system. And in order to provide the cooling of the generator, so that the generator will not cool, and if the generator is get hot, so the efficiency of the engine will reduce. So for that thing, we are required certain cooling system. Also, you know that in case of a diesel power plant, there are various mechanical equipments involved. So if the mechanical equipment that involved in a diesel power plant are not properly lubricating, so there will be certain friction and windage losses will occur. So in order to reduce that friction and windage losses, lubrication system we can adopt. And also at the last, we have an engine starting system, how the engine can start working. And when the engine start working, the you can say that the electricity, or we can say generated. So these are basically the parts of the diesel power plant. Now, these are certain advantages of the diesel power plant. You all noted down. These are the advantages of power plant. That is, design and layout are simple, occupy less space, located at any place, starting is quickly, and pick up load in a very short time. There is no standby losses, less quantity of water is required. So these, you can say that these are overall the advantages of the diesel power plant. Now, there are certain disadvantages. The main of the disadvantages that I have already told you, that the fuel that we can use for the generation of the electricity is a diesel. And when we use this diesel as a fuel, this diesel is very, very costly in nature. Second, the plant does not work satisfactorily under overload condition for a long period. The plant can generate a small power. The cost of lubrication is very, very high. The maintenance charges are also very, very high. So these are certain disadvantages of this diesel power plant. Now I will show you one more video. In this video, you have get an idea about the live working of a diesel power plant. So again, I am requesting to all of you to please watch this video to get an idea that how the live working of diesel power plant can take place. So this is all about the working of a diesel power plant. So with this, we have completed our diesel power plant. So anybody having any doubt, he or she can ask me now. Yeah, anybody having any doubt? Yeah, Shubham.
Yes, sir.
Anybody having any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay,
Nothing
fine.
about that.
So fine. So with this, after completion of this diesel power plant, now we are covered with the hydroelectric power station. We are covered with thermal power station. We are covered with the nuclear power station,
Yes.
and also now today we are discussed about the diesel power station. Clear? So यही आप लोगों के चार type of generating stations थे आपके syllabus में. Now quickly I will show you one more PPT, and this PPT is one of the most and most important thing for examination point of view, where you have to discuss about the comparison of all the types of generating stations. Now you have to discuss that you had already read the hydroelectric power station, you read the thermal power station, you read the nuclear power station, and you read the diesel power station. Now in this presentation, you see you have to discuss only, you can say that, what are the various parts of the comparison between the various generating stations. Now it is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So you can see that this is the basically the comparison. I can put this photograph on your book. So these are certain points, that is comparison of the various power plant. You can see we have a serial number, we have the items, and after that we have the four categories: the steam power plant, the hydroelectric power plant, the diesel power plant, and the nuclear power plant. So you see, number one point is site, how the site can be distinguished among four: initial cost, running cost, limit of source of power, cost of the fuel transportation, cleanliness and simplicity, overall efficiency, starting, space required, maintenance cost, transmission and distribution cost, and your standby losses. So I can again tell you one thing, that from the examination point of view, this is one of the most and most important question that is frequently asked in your paper, that what is the different, what is the comparison between all the types of generating station. So I can put both the slides on, that is diesel power plant slide as well as this slide, on your WhatsApp group, and also sending you the video of the diesel power plant, so you can watch the video so that you can get an idea that how the diesel power plant can actually work, and also go through these slides. And mind it, these slides are get very beneficial for you to understand the various types of generating station and what are the various comparison of this generating station. So with this our second unit, that is the generating station, is completed. Clear?